At the start of the day, we more or less look at the majority of the stories reported on the front pages of our dailies. We have conversations about them, give you an insight into the stories, and then for this segment, we try to receive your own feedback, allow you an opportunity to opine on the subject matters that had been treated at the start of the program. Hence the title Mainland Focus. We pick a few stories and shed the spotlight on these stories. My name once again is JᴏɪＲ Babalola, and this is Mainland Focus. We have two stories this morning that we would like to expand even further. One of which happens to be the conversation around fuel importation, as marketers have opinions regarding Dangote's decision to sue the NNPCL and 5 others, including the NMDPRA. You'd be reminded that Dangote earlier in June had filed a suit against the NNPCL and the NMDPRA and 3 others, mostly because they are violating the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act, one that clearly states that the only justification for importation is if the domestic consumption of that nation is insufficient or there is not adequate supply of product for domestic consumption. But as it stands, Dangote claims that he has the capacity to take care of our domestic needs. Why then is the NMDPRA, for one, granting licenses unnecessarily, and why has importation been encouraged? Also, they're also praying the court to ask questions regarding the levies and the taxes that have been sent to them or expected of them to pay when they're operating in the free trade zone. Operating in the free trade zone simply means that you are exempt from certain taxes and certain levies. But the report is alleging that the NMDPRA is threatening to impose a 0.5% levy on off-takers of product from Dangote, amongst other things. Although we now have new information, according to a statement that has been put out by Dangote Refinery, that suit was as far back in June, and now they are looking to consider an out-of-court settlement, especially now that the president has intervened and the resolution of getting crude for Naira has been put in place, a policy that we have yet to see be implemented. So we're having conversations. What does this story tell you about the commitment to stopping importation of refined petroleum products as an oil-producing nation? Also, how does continuous importation affect our local refineries? What would be the long-term implication of our decision to continue to import refined petroleum products, knowing that we have at least 4 Moribel national refineries and 1 functional private refinery that is confident that they have everything it takes to take care of our local needs? Now, aside that story, there's another one, according to the Guardian newspaper, top story on the front page of the Guardian, that sort of opens our mind to the operations of the Senate. We have pro-masses bill stall at National Assembly as political motions get priority. You'd expect a Senate that has a sense of priority, meaning they pay more attention to issues that affect the quality of life of citizens. Well, the Guardian is telling us reverse is the case, as there are quite a number of bills that has been sponsored by certain senators that are pro-people, but unfortunately these bills are yet to see the light of day. Some of these bills include the Inflation Reduction Fund bill. We also have the bill for an act to make emergency economic provision to restore macroeconomic inflation reduction program. There's another bill that seeks a legal framework for transactions between large corporations and micro, small, medium enterprises. There's also the Food Bank Establishment Bill of 2024. Senator Ali Ndume also pushed or sponsored a bill that mimics the idea of food stamp as we see in the Western world, where people can actually get food stamp and use this to feed themselves and their families. Now, all of these bills have not been given top priority. Instead, political bills, or bills that in a way or two sort of serve the purposes of these politicians, are what they are focusing on. So the question is simple. What does this story say about the commitment of the National Assembly to the welfare of the people? There you have it, the two stories for conversations this morning. As always, we'll try to have Fuhad Saheed more or less cement his opinion on these stories before we finally open the phone line and give you an opportunity to speak as well. Fuhad, thank you very much for being on standby. Let's hear your thought.
Someone Sage. Again, it's important to say that, look, we're not the spokesperson, or we're not speaking for the Dangote refinery. Again, our conversation is centered around critical thinking and the commitment to nation building. And it's very important that we pay attention to this thing, because it's almost like a developing story. and it's all tied together. It's all linked, whether you like it or not. The question is, when are we going to stop the importation of refined petroleum products? I remember that Mele Kyari, the GCEO of the NNPCL, had said that, look, by the end of 2024, Nigeria was going to be the net exporter of refined petroleum products. And his calculations at that time was that, look, the four state refineries are going to start working, Dangote refinery will be working optimally, and then other refineries that were coming upstream. I think we have someone in Edo State who was trying to also build one, and then other modular refineries, when they have, the needed support, would also come upstream. So we could get to the point where, look, we no longer import petroleum products into the country. We now start to produce crude, export crude, make foreign exchange from it, also refine products, and also sell out, so that we also make some foreign exchange, rather than spending foreign exchange to bring in refined petroleum products. Sage, all of that. Are we seeing any commitment to achieving that? Instead, we are seeing deliberate efforts by the NNPCL, the NNDPRA, and some colluding marketers to frustrate any idea of us having the capacity to refine what we need in terms of petroleum products. And if you look at the case, even though Dangote issued a statement yesterday to say, okay, no, they're already working it out, recent events have overtaken whatever happened in June on that case, and that in January they are hoping to withdraw the case from court. The fact that he had to even go to court in the first place to challenge the NNPCL and the NNDPRA, who have been issuing import licenses, tells us a whole lot about the commitment of these people to either sustaining the very terrible situation of an oil-producing nation importing refined petroleum products, or supporting local refiners so that we can at least ensure some local self-sufficiency when it comes to refined petroleum products. My mind tells me that these guys are not committed to us. And the way they are going, I just hope they are not going to kill the Dangote refinery. Because this is a guy who is saying that his business model, the design of the refinery in itself, is structured around getting crude locally. Now he's all over the world looking for crude. The crude for Naira that they've talked about, up till now, nothing really has happened with that. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So it is troubling, really. And that was why I gave you the example of, okay, why did we ban the importation of rice? Why? And some other products too. Oh, we have to support, our local rice farmers, blah, blah, blah. Even though what they are producing locally is even more expensive than the one they are importing. But the justification is that, no, it might be expensive, more expensive than imported ones, but we have to still find a way to produce what we eat. Why can't we use the same approach for the petroleum sector? Why can't we protect Dangote refinery? Why can't we repair our 4 refineries? Must we continue to import petroleum products? Who are these importers? We need NPCL, the NNDPRA. Whose interests are they protecting? That they must sustain the very ridiculous idea of us being an oil producing nation that must continue to import. And then the excuse is now deregulated. Deregulate by stopping importation. Let the competition be within. That's what we are saying. But again, at the end of the day, I keep taking everything back to the desk of the president.
Yes.
Who is the Minister of Petroleum. So at the end of the day, the president must show serious commitment to what he has said. It's even troubling that up till now, not in any of the speech of the president have we seen him mention any of our refineries. Now everybody is silent. Or are we suddenly forgetting our 4 refineries? So I think we are saying Dangote is looking for monopoly. Ensure competition by repairing those 4 refineries. Compete with him with those 4 refineries. Why have we not been able to fix our own refineries? But we are hearing news that people are buying refineries abroad. They are only blending plants abroad. It's really very unfortunate thing. And then for the National Assembly, I'm sorry. The money shows the day. I've never had any hope in this state assembly. I'm sorry, it's just what it is. So the report saying that, look, they are committed to political motions and bills than the ones that will benefit the people does not come to me as a surprise. This is an assembly that has shown they are more interested in political matters than issue of nation building. When you have principal officers who are so happy to rub the ego of the president, wear his cap, sing on your mandate, he stand in the chamber, what do you expect him? from day one they've shown to us that it's not going to be a very serious assembly. Worse than even about farm is what they have become. And so I'm not surprised by this story. It's just important for people to go and read it and understand that, look, we've made some serious error with people we've elected into this 10th assembly. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Fuad. We appreciate you for your insight as always. Well, it's time for us to hear what the public thinks about these subject matters. We're having conversations about issues that affect our lives, the decisions that are being made by those at the helm of affairs. And you understand that any disruption within the oil sector sends shocks through other sectors of the economy. And now we have a problem on our hand. There are contradictions, right? We have the Dangote refinery saying, I'm very well capable to take care of your domestic needs. But then again, we're seeing the NNPCL and the NMDPRA involving themselves in actions that in a way sabotages the ability of Dangote refinery to function optimally. And so we're asking questions, especially regarding the suits that was filed by Dangote refinery, that the NMDPRA is granting licenses, and that is on its own against the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act, one that clearly states that the only justification for importation, especially as an oil producing nation, is when you are unable to satisfy the domestic needs of your consumers. And Dangote says he very well can. Also, the levies that are now being placed on them, 0.5% levy. Why should a levy be placed on me if I'm operating within the free trade zone? These are just few of the content of the suit that was filed against the NNPCL, the NMDPRA, and about 3 other related agencies. So we're asking what this entire scenario, what exactly does it tell you about the political will or the desire of those at the helm of affairs to stop the importation of refined petroleum products, and also the long-term consequences of the continuous importation of these products? What effect is it going to have on our local refineries, on our local businesses, on the pricing, on the supply of the commodity? This is what we're asking you. And regards the National Assembly and their attitude towards bills that in a way is relevant to the quality of life of citizens, why then are we seeing a situation where they're shelving bills that are pro-masses and focusing on bills that are a tad bit political or mostly political? What does it tell you about the commitment of the National Assembly to the welfare of the people? Mind you, everything that we're saying here is according to the reports that have been put forward in the dailies. Punch newspaper, Guardian newspaper. These are not personal thought of ours. We're basically telling you what the papers have said. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. And if you'd like to call, the phone line is 0913 6000 The phone line again, 0913 6000 For WhatsApp and text messages, the number is 0913 6000 The number again, 0913 6000 You can also drop your comments and your submissions on the live stream at Mainland 98.3 FM. You have 2 minutes for your submission. Please be conscious of the time. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm on a stage. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. Are you okay?
Yeah, what up, my friend Fuhad?
As well, as well.
Yeah, God bless all of you.
Thank you.
This is Barrister Peter Oku. I'm calling from Mende, Maryland.
Welcome.
Yes. On the issues we are focusing on, you see, my candid take is that, in fact, the 2 issues we are focusing on, the National Assembly issue and the importation of petroleum products, they can be combined into one. And you can sum those 2 things up as gross insincerity on the part of this APC government. The last APC government was no good. The Buhari government was no good. And we thought that Nigerians have suffered enough under that government. And this government of Bola Tinubu claiming, and it's like, you wait, you have not seen anything. And I've always said it, that Nigerians, we are not going to continue to accept the rubbish that this APC government is giving us.
Sir, I apologize, but I'm trying to really extract what focus are you really speaking on? Are you talking about the oil sector, or you're talking about the National Assembly and the bills? Which one?
Yes, two of them, if you listen to me very well, two of those things can be combined into insincerity.
Okay.
Gross insincerity on the part of the government, both the National Assembly and the President. They don't care about the common Nigerians.
Thank you for
They
calling.
only care about themselves.
Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate you. Hello.
Babalola,
Good morning, sir.
good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Peter Monse from Shomulu.
Yes.
Let me from the question of what must we continue to import refined petroleum? The answer is yes. We must continue to import as long as the APC government remains in power. Now the time now is that how do we cope? How do we go along with them? How long will it take? Well, I don't know. They used to tell us that the PDP ruled Nigeria for 16 years. Maybe their own will be 32 years. So if for Nigerians, please find a way to take care of yourself. Let's forget about these people. But see, we have been talking. We have been providing solutions. Mr. Say, tell me what has changed. And it's about three years plus now. And we've been talking from the inception of this station. Tell me what has changed. Is it not the same story? From bad to worse, from worse to worse? So Nigerians, let's even just ask them, how long will they stay in power so that we prepare ourselves to weather these storms? You talk of National Assembly. They did not come there for us. They came for themselves. And they are saying, even this bill that we say they are concentrating on political bills, not even all. The side of it that will benefit us. Okay, what about the reforms of electoral reform that will benefit Nigerians so that we can get independent candidates, so that we will get independent judiciary? Have they touched that one? What about the areas that Nigerians are saying, look, bring down this, have they touched it? They need anything, they fly abroad. They don't have time for us. So what promise they have made? And my sister, let me round up with this. Yesterday, a particular session told us they played soundbite of the promise of Tinubu. It's like the promise of the NNPC. And one of it was that I will give you 24 hours electricity. You will not pay estimated bill again. If I don't deliver, when I come back 2027 second term, don't vote for me. That was Tinubu speaking. As he delivered, I beg Nigerians, let God help us. Make I call radio station to make myself happy, not the government. I don't get government. God bless you.
Thank you for calling. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Baba.
Good morning, sir. We can hear you. Please tell us your name.
This is Mr. Sunday calling from Ikeja.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I will talk about the PDP saga. PDP and Wike
That's
saga.
not what we're talking about, sir.
Okay. Let me talk of really good to EFCC. Am I right?
That's also not what we're talking about, sir. You know what, just hold on, and I will try to reiterate the subject matter for conversation this morning. For those of you who probably just are catching the program, this is Mainland Focus, and we have two stories for conversations. We're talking about the National Assembly, and we're also talking about the Dangote refinery and the suits that it instituted against the NNPCL and the NMDPRA, amongst others. There are 5 individuals, right, or 5 organizations that he decided to take to court, although the NMDPRA is saying that they did not receive any summon of any kind, or they did not receive any letter. And Dangote is telling us that by January they most likely would withdraw that particular suit because the president has intervened. Dangote is concerned that licenses are being given to marketers to import products into the country, and that is against the PIA because he can be responsible for our domestic consumption. So we're basically asking you the question, why exactly do you think petroleum product importation is still a great concern? Why are we still doing that when we have a refinery that can take care of our local needs? And then for the National Assembly, they have been accused, according to this report, support of shelving bills, of shelving legislation that would benefit the masses and focusing on legislation that has nothing to do with the welfare of the people. This is me just summarily telling you the focus of the day. So if you're calling, these are the two matters that you're allowed to speak on. If you want to talk about general issues, wait till Thursday, which is open mic Thursday. Hello.
Okay. Hey, Baba, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Mr. Sunday. Yeah, I call back again.
Yes.
Yeah, I got your message now a little bit. About the Django and NPC this way importation, it's all about the corruption now. We all know it's not something that Nigeria, we are doing research to discover why NPC they are so interested in importing PMS and trying to frustrate Dangote refinery not to work. Because they knew that if Dangote refinery works, all their corruption it will stop automatically and they will not do anything again. That is why they keep on insisting to import PMS so that they will be facilitating their own gains. So it is not a new thing. The only thing I would please to federal government, which is our president, he should come into the matter. He's the Minister of Petroleum. He should give the final say. He should say NPC, let this man go. Let Dangote be on his own and run his business. So do not that kind of investment on the ground. It's not an easy task. They should give this man the freedom. They should give him let me go on with his business so that Nigeria will have peace. We'll move away from this topic. Somehow I go that you're happy.
All right. I appreciate your input. Hello.
A very good morning to you, Babalola Sage.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. God bless you. My name is Prince Wire. Calling you from a word of faith.
Right.
I think as it is now, if Dangote and the NFP is having problems, without listening to what is going on, majority of Nigeria will lie behind Dangote because NFP are becoming Nigerians with millions of lives. Now, they are the ones making Dangote to be so popular, the man to be so talked about, because they forget their own duty. We have for refinery, all of them have collapsed since 1986 to 87. Лекукuri was having an affair with Abacha. See now, no one is working out of foreign refinery. And this was been promising Nigeria. If our foreign refinery is working, I think Dangote will just supplement what we are producing. So when you talk of monopoly, when you have surplus elsewhere, you can't monopolize the price. They are the one making down to be saying all this. So for me, the best thing I will separate the 5% of them is for Mr. President to come to dismantle NFPs from S to Z. Let them go to another ministry or they go home to go and rest. It's time for them to go. Give us NFPs that have competent people, incorruptible people, who like to serve the country to the fullest. And that's the key. And Mr. President to promise Nigeria and those engineers working that way down in our refinery. Come let us know how many percentage completion of our refinery. If they are not ready to work, then maybe the contract and give a reputable organization that can handle it. That's what I will say this morning, my dear.
Thank you for calling.
Sage.
Have a beautiful day. Let's pause on phone calls for a bit. Let's see if we can read messages on Facebook. Obina Paul on Facebook says, good morning. Now that we know that the cabals are really talking and they have become the head in Nigeria, they are forcing us to import fuel by force. Maybe because Dangote did not support them during the election. God help us. Okay, that's an interesting point of view. John Bernard, he says, good morning, Sage and Fuad. The World Bank always have their ways in countries where the leaders are not prepared to do or know what they're doing. This is why they can have their say in the policies of the Nigerian government. All right, thank you. Onotoye Temitope Michael says, hello Mainland FM. It's unfortunate that the shenanigan going on between Dangote and NNPCL have become more complex due to the secrecy, which to me is simply a lack of transparency and accountability from both parties involved. The most worrisome is where either the MD NNPCL, Mele Kyari, or the president, who doubles as the Minister of Petroleum, has not come out to give a press statement informing Nigerians when the 4 national refineries, especially the Port Harcourt refinery, will become operational and functional again, even after several dates promised for it to start functioning have failed. Finally, despite spending $1.4 billion on reviving the country's epileptic electricity, it's ridiculous and shameful to have on record that the national grid collapsed 3 times within a week. It's disheartening that Nigerians that are using postpaid have continued to pay for darkness due to the estimated billing. Is this the sign of renewed hope? God bless Nigeria. Temitope Notoye from Ijagemo community is the author of that message. Lukman Oladipupo on Facebook says, greetings from Dakar, Senegal. Every day in Nigeria is one problem to the other. When will our leaders allow the poor masses to breathe? I greet you, Mr. Fuhad and Babalola. I'm really tired of talking about Nigeria. All right, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Let me do a little bit of WhatsApp before I go back to the phone. We have here, good morning, Babalola and Fuhad. Number 1, import license given to import fuel. 2, 4 vessels of imported fuel arrived recently, despite the fact that Dangote has promised to supply all our local needs. For how long are we going to continue to import PMS? Did the government know that the massive importation is calling for the downfall of our Naira? How can we strengthen the Naira with this manner of policy somersault of this administration? If Nigerians continue to lament from now till thy kingdom come as to what is happening in the oil industry, absolutely nothing will change. It is now a taboo for anybody to call for a protest for fear of being charged for treason. Let Nigerians stay at home and boycott the filling stations for now until the Minister of Petrol, the President, explains to us what is going on in the oil industry, because the more you look, the less you see. Is it a cause to be a Nigerian? We are fed up with this anti-people policies of the present administration. Stephen Akimbisola from Ijegun, Lagos. All right, thank you very much, Stephen. Another one here reads, good morning, Sage. Our studies show that the whole Nigerian media strata may have been okay. Thank you very much. I don't have the energy for all this. We have another message here. Good morning. Dangote would have insisted on taking them to court, but now that Dangote has withdrawn the case, they would still keep importing PMS. All right, thank you very much. Good morning, Mainland Radio. I'm Stevie Kelu from Maryland. On the fuel fight, I sympathize with Dangote. He never had it so rough. The oil cabals are masquerading under NMDPRA and are sabotaging and frustrating Dangote and the entire nation with the jargons. Court or not, these criminal elements would always have their way. They prefer importation of fuel to local supply because of what they stand to gain. God help this nation. Stevie Kelly from Maryland there. Thank you very much. We have here, good morning, Mainland FM. I don't think any refinery will work in Nigeria again as long as Dangote refinery is at work because of his monopolistic idea. Even the president is not showing any interest in fixing Nigeria's refineries. Minister of Petroleum, the president himself, NNPC, and Dangote are not transparent in this issue. All of them are fighting for their personal interests. A message from Ralph from Satellite Town. Another one here. Good morning, Sage. NNPC knows why Dangote is under excruciating pain to get crude for its refinery. NNPC knows why all the government refineries are not working until date, despite repeated promises. Nigerians know the Minister of Petroleum at the moment. Oil sector is in a dilemma because the government wants it to be so. Marketers enjoy importation of fuel to make huge profit at the expense of Nigerians. No one can run effective commentary on this fragile, defective issue except for the government. Noah from Igondo sent that message. It's back to the phones. 2 minutes has been allotted to you. Remember, you're not allowed to malign any individual or attack another caller. State your purpose, state your argument in the 2 minutes that have been allotted to you, and let's go on about our day. All right, thank you for your understanding. Hello. I can hear myself.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I just like to say that this is IG from the sector.
Okay.
Now, this idea, the problem that Nigeria is facing is exact reason why developed countries don't allow any compromised character to come near power. They don't, because they know that other powers in the world who want politics will control them and manipulate them. A great story is
Your connection is bad.
Yes.
Hello? Okay, we can hear you now.
I think
Your
it's
connection
better
is
now.
better.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you see, we have a very serious problem in our hands, and unfortunately, many people will say, "Oh, we didn't vote them into power." Okay, fine, but I know people voted. One or two people voted for these people, maybe out of ignorance or some kind of loyalty, blind loyalty, or whatever it is. So we have a problem, and then these people have all sorts of power to come into power. There's nothing anybody can do about it. I'm a realist. Not like deceiving myself. The fact is that Nigeria is in for it. There's nothing right from immediately 2015, since Buhari came into power, I knew Nigeria is wrong. Nigeria is in trouble. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. That there was a country. I'm really sad about this. I know that you people do your job. You cannot, you're all afraid of losing your job or even being charged for things in debt. But when you have the World Bank and all these international bodies controlling your government, there's nothing you can do. That's how it looks like they are not, they don't like our people, they are dealing with your people, but it's because they are a people. They are being controlled by other powers, and there's nothing they can do. People like that are in power today, they talk anything. The foreign powers will show them their report card of that. So this thing, I will begin to expose you.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you.
It's unfortunate. All right, bye-bye.
Yes, have a beautiful day. I think it's more a function of having a sense of responsibility than being afraid. It's just being responsible adults. It's just applying logic.
And playing to the rules too.
And exactly obeying the rules and regulations that guide
Our profession.
conversations on public platforms like this one. It's not a function of fear. It's a function of responsibility. You should try it. It's really good. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, nice of you to join us. Your name, please.
Yeah, coming from Milan.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. The question I want to ask everyone: has Dangote prices defended to masses? Because we cannot continue to defend him. Yes, NNPCL and other agencies are not transparent, and they are not been doing what is right. But is Dangote himself, has he been doing fixing price that are affordable to the people?
Mr. Lami, let me come in. I understand where you're coming from, but if you've been following this Dangote and NPCL story, remember there was a time Dangote also hinted us that look, when he was trying to bring down the price of diesel, some major marketers wrote to the president to say that look, this guy's local production and his pricing is killing our business. I want you to take note of that.
Yes, I'm getting you.
And then when he wanted to start the release of PMS from that refinery, the NNPCL jumped in. Oh, we are going to be the sole off-taker. The same NNPCL that told us that there's no, they don't have any issues, they are not owing anybody, suddenly told us that they cannot import again. And then remember that the price moved from around 600 naira to over 800 naira per liter, 1,000 naira per liter. Why did the NNPCL come in at the point when Dangote was going to release his PMS? And there's also been the challenge of how much are you selling, how much did you buy? They said